Hey there everyone, it's time to go over the CAR, a balanced SMG effective at all ranges. Let's take a look. The CAR deals 25 damage per shot with a range fall off roughly half that of the carbine. At longer ranges, this damage drops to a minimum of 10. Your damage profile is identical to the R201 with about 2/3 of the range, and by about, I mean exactly. Your headshot multiplier is 1.5x, but that's not high enough of a multiplier to change your number of bullets to kill in most situations. Getting one headshot will get you back to a 4-shot kill when you're just outside of the gun's regular 4-shot range, but that's the only time it really matters unless you're able to get 2 headshots. And you know what, before we get too far into this video, I think we're going to be comparing this gun to the carbine a lot, and I just wanted to note that right now. I feel like as I'm reading this script off to you guys, I'm reading you the carbine guide, I'm not reading you the CAR SMG guide, and that just feels weird to me. Like, in my opinion, I kind of think that this iteration of the CAR is what a lot of players were expecting the carbine in Titanfall 2 to end up being, instead of the high recoil spray gun the R201 unfortunately did end up being. The CAR has fantastic hipfire accuracy as well as aim down sights accuracy, while dealing really similar damage to the carbine. What it may lose in damage at range in comparison to the carbine, it gains accuracy in spades, as well as a slightly higher rate of fire to boot. Go CAR! When it comes to keyboard and mouse players, one has to wonder why you would ever select the carbine for medium or long range engagements. It's harder to hit enemies with it at pretty much all ranges, and the randomness of its hipfire and ADS sprays certainly don't help. In this use case in particular, the CAR feels like a straight upgrade to the carbine in all relevant stats, with the slightly worse range statistic not even really mattering that much. Even on a controller, aiming down sights with this gun to get full benefits of aim assist is still pretty solid. I feel very comfortable using this gun in the roles I used to use a carbine in from Titanfall 1. Now, I may not compete with a G2 or a Hemlock because those guns are just so insanely good, but this SMG is solid and it's able to challenge those players, at least sometimes. And where the CAR is able to at least challenge these guns, the carbine loses to them outright unless you get within SMG range again, you get within good aim assist range again. And it just feels bad to me. Like, why wouldn't you just use an SMG at that point instead of the carbine? To be blunt, I'm not sure why you would ever use the carbine over the CAR in a keyboard and mouse environment. I'm sure all my console watchers are going to be scoffing at this, but seriously, you guys need to check out the CAR. You need to stop sleeping on it. It's got everything the carbine has, but it just does everything better. Anyways, back to your regularly scheduled programming. As always, make sure you're watching the clips I'm showing off here very closely to get a feel for where the CAR's damage starts to fall off in practice. I'm trying my best to standardize the ranges I'm testing at by using the same series of pieces of cover on Boomtown, so expect to see the same comparisons in future videos. When amped, the CAR's damage range bumps up to a maximum of 35 and a minimum of 20. You're killing in 3 to 4 shots out to pretty solid ranges and 5 shots out to the most extreme ranges. Recommended playstyle for this gun is, as with most SMGs, fairly aggressive. Few guns beat the CAR in the rate of fire department, making it one of your go-to picks for close-range engagements alongside the Alternator, R97, and EVA 8 shotgun. And before I go off repeating myself and rereading that entire first half of this video, it's a fantastic gun out to pretty decently long ranges as well. Goosing ejecting pilots with this gun's hipfire is honestly not that hard to accomplish with a little bit of practice. Let's hop over to my personal recommended loadout. This is going to look really similar to the loadouts in all my previous loadout guides, but man, like, the SMGs in this game are all so good and so interchangeable that you can just plop any of them into the same shell and it works great. Let's switch things up a little bit though. Here's how I usually run the CAR. I select the Pulse Blade tactical ability alongside either the Firestar or Arc Grenades, fast regen and low profile as my kits, and amped weapons for my boost. As for my anti-Titan weapon, I usually run the mag launcher, and for my attachments on both of those guns, I'll use tactical and speed loader for the CAR, as well as speed loader and extended mags for the mag launcher. As for optics, I use the low zoom scope for the CAR since I prefer it over the iron sights, but again, this one doesn't really matter. Choose whatever suits you best. As for the why of this loadout, I feel like one of the best possible pairings with the CAR is the Pulse Blade. Position aggressively on the map, get a Pulse Blade out, and use it to start chaining pilot kills. Your goal here is to use Tactikill to farm multiple uses of Pulse Blade over and over. You only need to pick up 3 pilot kills to get a second Pulse Blade ready, and if you position perfectly against an enemy spawn, you can wreak havoc on them coming out of spawn repeatedly. Obviously, this isn't the only use case scenario. You can effectively use the car to challenge slower assault rifle players to decent success as well. This is the all-purpose gun the carbine wishes it could be, and it really shows. Your ordnance selection is less important here. Choose what you want, but generally I feel like the arc grenades and the Firestar are your best options for aggressive play. These ordnances are quick and dirty. They provide an effect very shortly after being used, supplementing your gun instead of replacing it like frag grenades and satchel charges do. Most of the clips that you're seeing here are indeed with the Firestar, and that's for good reason. Fast damage is intensely important on aggressive classes, and the Firestar brings that to the table. Both it and arc grenades are also lovely at getting you closer to assault rifle players, forcing them out of their comfort zones and allowing you to secure much easier kills. Learn your slide hopping and proper wall running, but also learn when you need to just stop and chill for a little bit, shooting people from a distance, maybe hiding behind a box or two, and you'll find this gun is matched only by the Volt in sheer versatility. Get comfortable with the car, and you'll drive your KD ratio up in no time at all. Thank you all for watching, and I hope that you've learned something new today. Leave me a comment down below if you have any questions about the car that wasn't covered in the video, and I'll be happy to help you out. I'll see you in the next one, pilots. Take care.